Listen carefully, because after today, you will never look at love the same way again. You've been LID'd to about love. Society told you men are emotionless, that men don't feel as deeply, that love just happens. That's a lie. A man does not fall in love through attraction alone, not through beauty, not through lust. A man falls in love through neurology, repetition, and emotional imprinting. Let me break it down for you. All right, let's dive into the first key idea, how a man falls in love. Now, this is where it gets interesting because what I'm about to say is probably the opposite of what you've been told. Men don't fall in love in the same way that we often think. Society's version of love, especially when it comes to men, has been painted with a very narrow brush. We've been told love is something that just happens, or that men fall in love at first sight based on physical attraction. But here's the truth. Men fall in love through neurological imprints. Stay with me here because I'm about to break this down in a way you've probably never heard before. Love for men isn't just about lust or chemistry. It's not about how someone looks, how they speak, or what they wear. Those things can trigger the initial attraction, sure, but true love, the kind that sticks, that goes beyond just physical desire, is something far deeper. It's about emotional association. You see, the brain works in a way that isn't always obvious. When a man experiences deep emotions, whether it's excitement, joy, fear, or vulnerability, his brain starts creating neural pathways that associate those emotions with the person he's with at the time. This means that every single intense emotional moment a man shares with someone becomes a building block in the foundation of love. Think about it. If a man experiences a rush of excitement when he's around you, maybe he's laughing, having fun, feeling seen for who he truly is, his brain is linking you with that positive emotion. You become not just the source of that joy, but the trigger for it. Over time, his brain starts to associate the feelings of safety, warmth, and happiness with you. The next time he's feeling that way, his brain remembers you. It remembers the way you made him feel, and so it automatically begins to link those emotions to you. It's not just about the present moment anymore, it's about the future emotional experiences he'll have with you because the brain has engraved your presence into his emotional landscape. But here's the kicker. Men also fall in love through shared struggles, challenges, and growth. These aren't always the easy emotions like happiness and excitement, but they're just as powerful, if not more. When a man goes through a hard time and you're there, standing by him, supporting him, your presence becomes not just associated with good feelings, but with the feeling of being supported during his lowest points. You become the one who's there when the storm hits. Now, I want you to think about the impact of this. If a man's brain has linked you to these moments of emotional intensity, both the highs and the lows, then what do you think happens? He starts seeing you as something more than just a person in his life. You become a critical part of his emotional reality. You're not just a woman he's dating or even a woman he's attracted to. You are the source of those experiences. This is why when men talk about falling in love, they don't always say it's just about looks or instant chemistry. What they mean is that over time, their brains have been rewired to connect certain feelings, whether they're happiness, comfort, excitement, or even a sense of belonging, with the person they've shared those moments with. And that's powerful. This idea of neurological imprints goes even deeper when you think about the concept of consistency. The more often a man experiences these strong emotional reactions with you, the deeper the neural connection becomes. So it's not just the first few moments or the initial sparks that matter. It's the repeated emotional experiences that really create the foundation of love. What this means for you if you're looking to build a deeper connection is that consistency matters. Men are wired to bond through these repeated emotional imprints. It's not enough to have one amazing date or one great conversation. It's about consistently being there, creating positive emotional moments, and creating a space where he feels he can be himself. Imagine this, you've been through some ups and downs together, and every time you face a challenge, you come out the other side stronger, closer. His brain starts to associate you with growth and resilience. You're not just someone he enjoys spending time with, you're the person he associates with strength, trust, and emotional support. And this doesn't just apply to relationships where everything is smooth sailing. In fact, the struggle, the challenges, those difficult moments are just as critical in deepening that imprint. Because when a man can share vulnerability with you or experience growth alongside you, you become the person he links those transformative experiences with. In essence, love for a man is built not only on the emotional high points, but also on the emotional lows. And that's what makes love for him so anchored, so rooted in the real, raw experiences that only time and shared emotional exchanges can create. And here's where it gets even more fascinating. These neurological imprints aren't just about emotional experiences. They're also about how you make him feel about himself. A man falls in love when he feels seen and understood. When you're able to reflect back to him the best version of who he is, his brain associates you with that self-empowerment. You become the mirror through which he views his own potential. And that creates an emotional bond that goes beyond surface-level attraction. So let's wrap this up in a powerful way. If you want a man to fall in love with you, not just in the moment, but in a deep, lasting way, you need to create moments where his brain can imprint you as part of his emotional reality. Consistency, emotional intensity, and shared experiences are the keys to unlocking love. It's about making sure that when he thinks of happiness, growth, and connection, he thinks of you, and that's something you have control over. You have the power to create the conditions where a man's brain can't help but associate you with the best, most empowering experiences in his life. The next time you're together, don't just think about how much he likes you in the moment. Think about how the emotional moments you share are shaping his reality and ultimately his heart. This is how love is built, not on fleeting feelings, but on lasting emotional imprints that transform both of you together. So, what emotional imprint will you leave today? Let's move on to the second key point, which might challenge some of what you think you know about love and relationships. This one is crucial because it changes everything you think about how love is built, especially for men. And that point is this: men fall in love through repetition and identity when a woman becomes a part of his sense of self. Now let's break that down because there's so much power in this idea. What does it really mean for a man to fall in love because of repetition and identity? It means that for a man, love doesn't just happen. It's not just a single moment or a passing feeling. It's the result of repeated experiences, repeated emotional exchanges, and repeated connections with one person. It's like a slow burn that over time becomes undeniable. He doesn't just love you in one isolated instance. He loves you because over time you have become ingrained in his identity. Think about it this way. We all have a sense of who we are, what we like, what we don't like, what makes us feel alive, and what makes us feel safe. And in order for a man to fall deeply in love with a woman, he needs to see her as part of his life's narrative. This is bigger than physical attraction or even emotional connection. It's about how a woman fits into the story of his life, how she aligns with his vision of who he is and who he's becoming. Let me give you an example. Imagine a man who's building his career, who's on a mission to grow, to become better, to create a future. He starts dating a woman who over time consistently supports him in that mission. She's not just a sidekick in his life, she becomes a partner in his journey. She challenges him, uplifts him, and shares his values, dreams, and goals. She becomes not just someone he enjoys spending time with, but someone who is vital to his vision of the future. Now imagine this, every time he faces a challenge or a decision, he starts thinking about her, about how she helps him grow, about how he feels stronger, more centered, more driven when she's in his life. That's where the magic happens. She becomes a part of his identity. She's no longer just that girl he's dating. She's the one who represents growth, success, purpose for him. She's the person who embodies the kind of life he wants to lead. This idea is powerful because in order for love to grow to that depth, it requires repetition. It's not just one great conversation, one exciting date, or one perfect night. It's about consistently showing up in each other's lives, creating those shared moments and reinforcing that bond again and again. It's like laying bricks on a foundation that, with every touch, every word, every shared experience, becomes stronger and more solid. Over time, these repeated moments weave you into his life in ways that go beyond what he consciously realizes. For a man, love is like a map. It's built by connecting experiences, moments, and emotions into a cohesive whole. And if you've been consistently part of that map, part of the emotional experiences that form the landmarks of his life, you are now integrated into his identity. You've crossed that threshold from someone he's dating to someone who is central to his personal journey. But here's something you need to understand. For a man, love isn't just about feeling good in the moment. It's about who he becomes with you by his side. He needs to see you as someone who's not just fun to be with, but someone who adds value to his life, who challenges him, makes him better, and helps him evolve. When he begins to see you as a key part of who he is and who he's becoming, that's when love truly deepens. And this is where the idea of identity comes into play. A man's identity is often tied to his goals, his mission, and his purpose in life. And so when a woman fits into those aspects, when she becomes a reflection of his future, he starts to see her as indispensable. She's no longer just someone who fits in with his life. Now you might be wondering, how does this apply to me? How do I become a part of his identity? Great question. It's not just about showing up once in a while or doing the bare minimum. It's about being consistent in your support, your presence, and your love. It's about making him feel like he can't imagine his life without you. And that doesn't mean being clingy or overwhelming. It means becoming a steady, reliable presence in his life. It's about being there when he needs you and not just when it's convenient or easy. But let me take this one step further. Repetition isn't just about consistency in good times. It's also about how you show up during tough times. Here's the thing. Love grows through adversity, through challenge. When a man goes through hard times with a woman, when he's struggling, when he feels vulnerable, when he's uncertain, and she stands by him, that's when he starts to see her as part of his inner circle. In the end, love isn't built on fleeting moments or surface-level attraction. It's forged through consistency, emotional depth, and becoming an integral part of someone's identity. If you want to leave a lasting impact, focus on creating shared experiences that not only bring you closer, but weave you into the very fabric of his life. When a man can't imagine his future without you in it, that's when you know you've created something real, something undeniable. The question is, are you ready to make that kind of imprint